It's 1-0 Australia.
Brandon Barilla doing it for Australia.
And hits it. What a strike! But never, ever right off the Socceroos.
Asian Cup of 2015. Australia up against South Korea. And we're underway. Son Heung-min. Oh, Plenty thought it was in. Tim Cahill forces the save. Just delayed the pass. Oh, the volley was spectacular. And only just missed from Son Heung-min. Into the danger zone. Son Heung-min again teed up and it deflects out of play. Oh, lovely little turn from Luongo. Oh, what a goal from Massimo Luongo. Here's a go. Right through the middle. Son Heung-min for South Korea. In stoppage time. Still in play and risky play. And there might be a tap in here. There is. Australia go in front. James Troisi. Australia has done it. The Socceroos, kings of the continent for the first time. They're the champions of Asia in 2015.
Incredible celebrations in 2015. Can they replicate those in 2024? The Asian Cup kicking off in just 5 days' time. This is the Socceroos' last hit out before that tournament gets underway. You saw the skipper, Matty Ryan, a moment ago, sporting some pretty epic faceware. Batman is in the house. He won't be starting tonight, though. He'll be on the woodwork in this last hit out for the Socceroos against Bahrain. Hello and welcome to our coverage. I'm Neve Owens. It is lovely to have you with us in the early hours of this Sunday morning and to be here alongside a couple of Socceroos. Luke Wilkshire, hello, good to see you, Luke.
Good morning, good to see you.
Lovely to see you. And Eric Pardlew, welcome to the Channel 10 family.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you on board.
Yeah, thanks very much.
5 days out from the start of the Asian Cup. What are you hoping to see from Graham Arnold's men tonight?
Oh, look, I think energy is probably the word, that we want to use tonight for the Socceroos. It's got to be an energetic performance going into that first game in 7 days. They play against India next Saturday, and it's a great test against Bahrain. It's a very similar opponent in terms of the way that they match up. And we're going to see a few new faces tonight and a few old ones and guys that need minutes. So there's a lot to play for tonight.
Arnie said in the lead up to this one, Lukey, that he's got one eye on the Asian Cup and two eyes on the World Cup in 2026. What do you make of those comments? Because it's a major tournament. The Aussies are going in with a clear goal, aren't they?
There's only one thing you can be looking at right now, and that's the Asian Cup. This is a major tournament. You get two major tournaments every 4 years. So you're there, your full focus has to be on this Asian Cup and winning it. So I'm sure sometimes he likes to throw those little spanners and smoke screens.
Got a few newbies in this squad, a few surprises as well. Let's have a look at the Aussies' record at the Asian Cup. We saw those celebrations in 2015 just a moment ago. Lukey, you played in the 2007, that quarter-final loss to Japan on pens, lost to Japan in the final in 2011 as well. This is a tournament that we always go into with such high hopes, but difficult opposition at every turn.
Yeah, it's a great reminder of those losses. Thank you, Nevo. That's fantastic. Didn't hurt at all. But no, look, these tournaments are massive for us. And this is a tournament, look, that realistically that we go into and we want to win this. We did it obviously in home soil, and we heard Goodwin say already that they believe that they've got the squad to do it. And a massive tournament ahead. What
happened to your medal after that 2011 final, just while we're on the topic?
Well, potentially it's still there. Someone might be able to pick it up. I don't know. It definitely didn't find its way home. Look, I like to win, and we didn't win on that day, so yeah, thanks.
Plenty of celebrations, though, Lukey, after the World Cup. Just over 12 months ago, made it to the round of 16, fell to Argentina. Are expectations rightly quite high heading into this Asian Cup after what we saw really unite the country in 2022?
Yeah, I think, and also playing in Qatar, a venue they're very comfortable in playing, 12 months ago. And if they don't use that energy to back it up now, to go and get results and being one of the best teams in Asia, ranked 25th or 26th, that's the lowest I can remember for an Australian side. And they have this quiet confidence about them. But the result they got against France was good the first game, even though they lost, winning the two group games after that and getting forward to Argentina. I think they've got to go into this tournament thinking they can win it.
Let's have a look at how Graham Arnold's side will line up for this clash with Bahrain tonight. Joe Gauci from Adelaide gets his chance. Matty Ryan is on the bench with that face fracture. Geordie Boss will be on the left of a back four, Suter and Burgess in the middle. And making his Aussie debut, Gethin Jones will get his start at right back with Ryan Strain out injured. We'll have Irvine and O'Neill holding mids with Metcalf on one edge, Goodwin on the other, and alongside Mitch Duke, Sammy Silvera gets his chance. He's coming off 4 starts in 10 days with Middlesbrough. He has been busy heading into his first major tournament with the Socceroos. Let's have a look at how Bahrain will line up. Their skipper, Walid Al Hayam, is in that back four. They've got 4 overseas-based players in the squad. 2 of them will start tonight. Moses Atidi is one. He's in the middle of the park. He plays in Malaysia. Komail Al Aswad is the playmaker. And up front, Ali Madan, who plies his trade in the UAE. Lukey, looking at this Socceroos side tonight, Sammy Silvera is a bloke you know very well from the Mariners. He's been playing in a more central kind of role up front at Middlesbrough recently. How do you expect the Socceroos to use him? Yeah,
look, if it seems like they're going to play him alongside Duke or in behind Duke. Naturally, he's normally a winger, an out-and-out winger. He likes to face people and get at them one-on-one. I'm delighted for him. I think he was obviously fantastic last year for the Mariners. Got his move, earned his move to Middlesbrough, been doing well. He's had the opportunity to start playing there, being more regularly. So he's coming into this in form, and I'm excited to see him take this opportunity to start a game.
He's a personality as well, isn't he? He's an exciting character. Will we see him get the opportunity to show that?
Yeah, he has to. He's a player who entertains. You know, I always have that with him, that I always say, go and entertain me, Sammy, because that's what people want to see, and that's what he can do. He brings a flair, he's direct, he's quick. He's got an end product. So, yeah, like I said, I'm excited to see him get his start.
Gethin Jones gets his opportunity, Eric. His debut for the Socceroos. We know he represented Wales right through his junior international career. Indeed, he captained Wales after being born in Perth. How big is this for Arnie to be really creating more depth at right back?
Yeah, strange pathway for Gethin, but in terms of what Graham Arnold is saying, it's very similar to the Bruno Fornaroli conversation. He's trying to pick a team to win a tournament right now. He's 28 years of age. Maybe he's not going to play for the next 10, 15 years, but he can play at right back. He's played with Harry Suter as well at club level, and that little combination for them, I think, you know, he's already bred himself into the national team quite well in camp, so I hear. And that question mark at right back, maybe he'll answer that tonight for Arnie.
Let's hear from the boss himself then. Graham Arnold spoke to us just a short time ago.
Yeah, look, it's about players that haven't had much match minutes over the last 3 or 4 weeks, like Jackson Irvine, Connor Metcalf. They finished on the 18th of December. Some others haven't played before Christmas, but I truly believe it's a strong lineup, and it shows you the depth we have in the squad.
And the main thing you're looking to take away ahead of the Asian Cup next week?
Yeah, of course, some good form straight away. You know, every time you go on the pitch to play for your nation, it's always an honour, and these days with the ranking points is very important for World Cup qualifiers. So it's important that we go out there and put in a good performance.
Graham Arnold speaking moments ago ahead of this clash between the Socceroos and Bahrain. We know Bahrain will likely, Lukey, set up in that low block. How will the Aussies look to break them down?
Oh, well, look, the creativity. We'll be looking for more of that. We've been scoring a lot of goals off set pieces. Balls in the box, delivery in the box, the aerial threat that we have, but I'm sure he'll be looking for that little bit extra creativity, because we're going to have to look to break down teams going into the Asian Cup. A lot of teams, they're going to drop deep against us, and we're going to have to break them down, so it'll be no different against Bahrain. We saw the Socceroos do that really well against Bangladesh just a short time ago here in Melbourne. Is that a sign of how they'll attack this one tonight and indeed approach the group stage of this tournament?
Yeah, I think Bahrain will sit in a little bit more than Bangladesh. It won't be as open as that. But what I liked about that game is it was very open in the second half, and the Socceroos really put them to the sword. I'm excited to see Geordie Boss play on that left-hand side. We talk about creativity. You can be creative from every position on the park. So it doesn't just have to come from the central players, but I like to see the different types of goals we can score. Harry Suter can score with his head. Jackson Irvine can make late runs. So he's got a lot of options, Graham Arnold.
Let's have a look at who Arnie's side will be up against in the group stage of the Asian Cup. They're in Group B. Uzbekistan, India and Syria are there. Lukey, Uzbekistan won the Under-20 Asian Cup last year. They beat the Socceroos in a penalty shootout on their road to the final. Is that kind of experience on home soil going to give them a certain level of confidence coming into this tournament? Look,
Uzbekistan are a good team. They're a nation on the rise. In football, there's no doubt about that. It's always been a tough test whenever we played them. Look, I would expect Australia and Uzbekistan, both to go through the group, but you can't take anything lightly.
India qualifying for their second straight Asian Cup for the first time, Eric, a team that you know really well.
Yeah.
What will their hopes be heading in?
Yeah, I'm working at the moment, and they were the first team in Qatar to start training on New Year's Day. Chose not to play a friendly, so they try to keep everything in-house. They've had a few big injury concerns, but what's big for them is their number 9. He's a 39-year-old striker that scored 93 international goals, only behind Messi and Ronaldo, so watch out for him.
Cannot wait. That all starts, and you can see it, of course, on 10 and Paramount Plus. Speaking of the Aussies in action, the Matildas will be back in action in February, looking to seal a spot at the Paris Olympics, and it's Uzbekistan once again that they'll be up against.
Oh, here goes Sam Kerr, through on goal. Kerr blasts it into the roof of the net. Australia's all-time leading goal scorer. Fowler, it opens up for the shot. Oh, Mary Fowler, breathtaking. What a goal from the Golden Girl, Mary Fowler. And now they make their move, and Sutar steers it into the corner. Australia hit the front. And back post was Chapkansi, and there is the opening goal. Mitch Duke with the finish, although Harry Sutar is claiming it too. Craig Goodwin delivers the free kick in. It's a good ball, and it's the opening goal from the towering Harry Sutar.
Harry Sutar, 2 goals in the last 2 games for the Aussies. That's 10 now for the national team. Not bad for a centre-back, is it? Lukey, you mentioned the set piece a little bit earlier on. How crucial is Harry Sutar becoming in that area for the Aussies?
He's massive for us, literally. Literally. No, but, 10 goals already as a centre-back, but the threat that we have great delivery from Goodwin, and Martin Boyle, but, he's a mere mountain. He, in both boxes, he's phenomenal. And he used his height and his length, superbly. And, like I said, going into the Asian Cup against the Asians, where physically we can dominate them massively.
He gets himself in such good positions defensively as well. How much confidence does it give you in the middle of the park when you've got such an imposing figure there behind you?
There's that aura about him. I had players like Lucas Neal and Ogonoski in the past that would just, they'd kill their grannies to get 3 points. You know what I mean? They're those type of players. But Harry Sutar's just got this aura about him, and the ball goes inside the box, you're in safe hands when he's there.
One of the things we talk about with Sutar is the lack of minutes at club level for Leicester. Is this a real opportunity for him over the next month or so to continue to show what he can do, put himself in the shop window, if you like?
100%, and he's known that. He's nailed in with the national team, so he knows he's getting minutes in the national team when those games come up. And now to get so many minutes over the month, for sure he'll be thriving on that. Like I say, it's unfortunate he's not getting minutes at Leicester at the moment, but I'm sure at some point he's gonna crack it, whether it's be at Leicester or at another club. One
of those goals we saw, Lukey, off the break there was a goal against Bangladesh. Obviously, the Aussies scored a number against Bangladesh, and one of the things that we saw was that flow, but also the numbers going forward that the Aussies were getting in the box. Yeah, for sure. That's one thing that we've done really well. We're very dangerous on set pieces, but also when we're getting forward, we're getting balls in wide areas, we're getting our wide players coming in. You see here Goodwin inside as well, Geordie Boss coming in. We're getting behind him, and you look here, near post run, you got Goodwin, Geordie Boss recognises that Goodwin's gone to the back post and goes inside for the cutback. Yep. That's your left back. So getting those bodies in the box, but not just getting bodies in the box, but getting them in those different points. One near post, one back post, and one for the cutback. And then we see here again, the same playing inside in the pockets, the overlap and run. And again, you see Jamie McLaren here getting across the near post. Again, we've got there Borello for the cutback. And there you got Lewis Miller, who's the right back, also bombing forward into that back post area. So we've always got options, and we pick the right pass and the finish. 29 shots in that game and over 90% passing accuracy. But you reckon tonight will be a much tighter affair? Yeah, I think so. There was 14 on target in that game, and I think Bangladesh didn't have any shots on target. So it was a dominant display, but I think with Bahrain, the way that they're going to set up, they have South Korea in their first group game, so they're going to have to try and find a pattern very early to sit in, soak up pressure, play on the break. But if we can play like that and double up in wide areas and find those key passes inside the 6-yard box, it's going to be a good night for us. The Aussies have had the better of Bahrain in the past, Lukey. How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, look, you'd expect us to dominate possession. Like I said, it's about us trying to be able to break them down. You touched on there, Bahrain against South Korea. They're going to sit in, they're going to absorb and play on the breaks. So it's about us dominating and being able to convert.
Plenty of attacking options on the bench from an Australian perspective. Is this one of those games where we see Arnie play quite a different lineup in each half, or does he pick and stick?
Yeah, he's got a luxury, hasn't he, to play a few boys in the second half, and he talked about giving players certain minutes that weren't playing at club level. And, you know, Marty Boyle's one of those players that I would have thought he would have started tonight, particularly after not playing in the World Cup. And I'm excited to see him get a run. Yengi as well, bit of force off the bench. So he has got options in the second half.
It's interesting looking at that bench, Lukey, and how he'll use it, because you've mentioned a couple of them then. Bruno Fornaroli has been in incredible form in the A-Leagues. If we go into half-time at 0-0, for example, surely that's the kind of player you're looking to.
I hope to see him, I really do. I think he's earned his right to be there in the national team with his form, and I do hope we see him get some minutes tonight and also in the Asian Cup, because I think he's got a lot to offer.
We've got anthems on the other side of this short break here on 10 and Paramount Plus. Socceroos up against Bahrain. Kick-off shortly, and kick-off in the Asian Cup is coming up for you this week.
Craig Goodwin delivers the free kick in. It's a good ball, and it's the opening goal from the towering Harry Souttar. Miller is there with Metcalf. He dinks the ball back in. Great header. Mitch Duke. What a story. 11 goals now in green and gold.
Welcome back to our coverage on 10 and Paramount Plus. This is the Socceroos up against Bahrain. The Socceroos' last outing before the Asian Cup gets underway in just 5 days' time. They've had the wood over Bahrain in the past. They've met 5 times before. The Aussies have come out victorious on all 5 occasions. Their last meeting was in 2011, the Asian Cup group stage, and it was Mile Jedinak who scored to seal the Aussies' passage to the knockout stages on that occasion. Lukey, the Aussies have outscored Bahrain 9-1 in their 5 meetings. We know Bahrain will look to attack on the counter tonight. How dangerous will they be?
Yeah, well, I expect to see more goals for Australia and to carry on this way. You know, we expect Bahrain to sit in deep and play on the counter, and that's something that Arnie will be aware of and be wanting to make sure that we are in control in transition, because we're going to face that also going into our group games in the Asian Cup.
Geordie Boss and Gethin Jones set to make his debut for Australia tonight. Is this a game where we do see the fullbacks really pushing up high?
Yeah, they've got to. I think with that formation, in terms of maybe playing Goodwin and Metcalf a bit further central, it'll allow Geordie Boss and Gethin Jones to get forward. I think, you know, your first game for the Socceroos, you just got to go out there and be steady. I'm sure he's going to have a lot of help from his teammates at, you know, in the defensive line. But Gethin Jones tonight just needs to keep it simple, get through his first game. And, you know, if he can get forward and provide crosses for the likes of Mitch Duke, then great. But Geordie Boss and Craig Goodwin on the left-hand side, I'm really excited to see them.
He's 28 as well, and hearing him speak this week, he feels like a future leader within this team. He's got that authority already, and we know he led Wales at junior level. Is he the kind of bloke that will really be looking to put his stamp on this right-back position, a position that kind of has been up for grabs for the Aussies of late?
For sure he'll want to. He's come into the national team set up late at senior level. He'll be wanting to stamp his authority and try and, you know, take that spot for the Asian Cup. There's no doubt about that. You know, he'll think that he's lost a bit of time, and it's opportunity. You know, and that's the biggest thing you can see, because Arnie's come out and said it. You know, no one's nailed it down. So it's definitely a position that's up for grabs.
He's also said, Graham Arnold, that he's really enjoyed this time in camp with the team. He doesn't often get an extended period with the squad. Is that potentially why we're seeing him try some different options tonight with super experienced players on the bench? Yeah,
the thing about Arnie is that he creates an environment. Any team that he has, whether that's at club level or at, you know, national team level. So when you go into those camps, he wants to make everybody feel accepted and on a level playing field. And you could hear Gethin Jones saying during the week how, you know, he felt like he'd been here for the whole of his career already. So I think Graham Arnold tonight's got the flexibility to try a few things out, certainly in the second half, I think. But for Gethin Jones, it's a big night for him tonight.
Very similar conditions, Lukey, to what they'll experience in Doha over the next month or so. How significant will that be, and the familiarity that the Aussies have both here and in Qatar?
Yeah, well, they're used to it. You know, during COVID, obviously Australia, it was a home away from home Qatar, so they feel very comfortable in Qatar. And obviously having the pre-camp there, you know, like talk about the weather conditions, so they're acclimatised to that. The players, a lot of them are in Europe, so they haven't had to travel far, so, you know, perfect conditions for them to be playing.
The Socceroos taking it to the field up against Bahrain in their last hit out before the Asian Cup gets underway. They'll be looking to capitalise on what has been a whole week in camp together with Graham Arnold in make sure that they hit the Asian Cup in fine form. We're going to pause now for the national anthems of both nations, and on the other side you'll hear from your commentary teams Simon Hill and Daniel McBreen.
So it's the final chance for the Socceroos to ink their name into the starting 11 for the start of their Asian Cup campaign. Now just a week away with that match against India in Doha. Their opposition is Bahrain, a country they've played 5 times and beaten 5 times. And of course they have their own date in Doha to look forward to against South Korea in 9 days' time. So this is the sort of test they need as well. Australia have trained in Abu Dhabi before making the short hop to Bani Yas. Here's the team news. Bahrain selecting an 11 that is made up mostly of domestic-based players. The exceptions, midfielder Moses Atidi, who plays in Malaysia for Kedah, and striker Ali Madan, who plays in the UAE with Ajman. Midfielder Mohammed Al Hadan is one of few Bahrainis to have featured in a European top division, though, which he did with Vale in Denmark before returning home to Al Khaldea. The referee today is a local Emirati, Mohammed Al Hamoudi. The two captains, Walid Al Hayam of Bahrain and Jackson Irvine for the Socceroos, in the absence of Matty Ryan, of course, who continues to recover from that fractured cheekbone. Graham Arnold will be hoping that, particularly with a spate of absentees, everybody comes through unscathed tonight. Here's the team he's selected. It includes debutant Gethin Jones at right back. He becomes Socceroo number 639. And Sammy Silvera in attack for his first start for his country alongside Mitch Duke. It is a position he has been playing of late for his club side, Middlesbrough. And on the bench, Paddy Yazbek and John Iredale hoping to make their debuts for Australia. For Bahrain, Abdullah Yusuf is another overseas-based player. He plays in the Czech Republic for Mlada Boleslav. Juan Antonio Pizzi and Graham Arnold, the two coaches. Pizzi, the 55-year-old Argentine, who was a very distinguished player in his day. Played for the likes of Barcelona, and he coached against Australia with Chile in the Confederations Cup in 2017. As for Graham Arnold, he was in temporary charge along with Johan Neyskens of the Socceroos when they played Bahrain in Australia's very first game in the Asian Confederation back in 2006. Australia winning 3-1 that day in Manama. Tonight, though, it's the Baniyas Stadium, and Harry Sutar looking to score for the fourth international in a row. Ibrahim Lutfallah and the Bahraini defenders will be wary of the Socceroos on set pieces in particular. So it's Australia who get us underway, playing in the dark blue colours tonight. 90 minutes to go before another big tournament for the national team. What sort of things is Graham Arnold looking for tonight, Daniel McBreen?
Good evening, Simon. Yeah, well, we'll be looking for a positive display from his players. He spoke in his press conference about positions being up for grabs, and he's looking for players to really take that by the scruff of the neck and make those positions theirs. So he'll be looking for that from plenty of players across the board.
Clearance upfield from Joe Gauchi in for just his second cap tonight. Important, of course, with that injury cloud over Matty Ryan, that he gets some game time, and that has been the mantra from Graham Arnold this week. Several players have not played for a few weeks for their clubs. In the case of Harry Sutar on the ball here, of course, he's been out of the Leicester team for much of the season. Did make a couple of appearances off the bench, though, in December.
And saying that, it hasn't really affected his performances for the
That's
Socceroos.
true. Sent forward by Moses Atidi for Bahrain, but cut out by Cameron Burgess and steadied down by Jackson Irvine, proudly wearing the skipper's armband tonight. And the first taste of the ball at international level for Gethin Jones. Not exactly inexperienced, though. Well over 100 games for Bolton Wanderers. And began his career with Everton. A chance for Hash on the right-hand side to try and link up with Jassim Khalif, but Joe Gauchi out to collect.
Well, it was a little concerning there. Socceroos left a lot of space. And the transition was on there for Bahrain.
Cameron Burgess. See Craig Goodwin tucking into that little pocket. It's a very strong challenge on Geordie Boss, but a fair one. Left nothing to the imagination. Mohammed Adel, ball and all.
Yeah, that's a great challenge.
Bahrain lining up with those low blocks, almost a 4-5-1 without the ball. They go searching for Jordi Boss. Ali Madan claiming a foul. Mohamed Al Hamoudi not interested. And Australia will look to build again. Worked out wide by Metcalf. A bit of time for Conor Metcalf. He's one of those that Graham Arnold wants to get some minutes into the legs. Played a club game since the 18th of December. Same as his St Pauli teammate, Jackson Irvine, of course. Burgess. Duke managed to steer the ball back towards his captain. And this is the pattern of the game, I guess, Daniel McBreen, that we expected to develop. Australia seeing a lot of the ball. Gethin Jones in that advanced position on the right.
You could just hear Graham Arnold just yelling out, Gethin, go. He wants his wingers to come inside and his fullbacks to overlap and get him behind.
Sutar trying to thread that one through for the run of Duke, but the intervention from Al Khalasi. Bahrain happy to sit off and let Australia have the ball in these sorts of positions. Burgess with no pressure as he advances forward. Jordi Boss. Goodwin. Who has assisted the opening goal of Australia's last two internationals, both for Harry Suter in those World Cup qualifiers against Bangladesh and then latterly Palestine. Australia trying to pick their way through a packed Bahraini defence. It's a good win back, that, by Sammy Silvera. Irvine looking for options. Metcalf. Gethin Jones trying to arc his run to stay on side and gets the low cross in, but he didn't quite time it well enough. The debutant.
Well, that's exactly what Graham Arnold wants. For those balls to be played in behind, you can see he goes way too early. But he wants fullbacks to be high, getting in behind and crossing for those two strikers and two inverted wingers to be in the box.
And despite their defensive shape, Bahrain, they are no mugs. About to appear in their 7th Asian Cup finals, and they finished 4th back in China in 2004. And you also might remember they got pretty close to the World Cup in 2010. Through to the Intercontinental Playoff, which they lost narrowly to New Zealand. So they are a nation with football pedigree, and they've got a chance here. Hash on the ball. Ali Madan, not quite on the same page as his teammate, Jassoon Khalaf.
Well, a little glimpse there of what the Bahrainians can do. Looking to almost do what the Socceroos did, get a combination play in those wide areas and little ball in behind.
At the moment, it's a front five for Australia. Such is the lack of pressure on the ball carrier. Burgess inching forward. Turn by Aidan O'Neill. All Silvera could do is just keep the ball alive. Tied it up by Al Hayem for Bahrain. And just run out of play by Jassoon Khalaf on that far side. Cameron Burgess. A floated ball forward, but intervention from Al Khalasi. It's almost attack v defence for the most part.
Bahrain showing no intent at all to press the ball. Happy to sit in that deep block.
It's a good test, though, for Australia. Might be several teams who employ this particular tactic at the Asian Cup, particularly in the early stages.
Yeah, for sure. It's good for them to come up against this opposition, and they need to move the ball quickly. Little combinations, move that ball, shuffle the defence quickly, and get those little balls in behind.
Yeah, it's an exercise in problem solving, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
How to find the space, how to move that defensive block around. Square by Irvine. O'Neill looking to hit Gethin Jones on the right-hand side. Born in Perth, but moved to Wales at the age of 3. He played for the Welsh junior teams before accepting Graham Arnold's call. Well, here's a strange fact. He actually made his Everton debut as a substitute for Tyus Browning, who he might face in the Asian Cup. He's now playing for China after being naturalised. Football's a small world these days.
Well, it is, isn't it?
Not the most convincing header, and Geordie Boss might nip in. And Silvera jumping at the defender as much as towards the ball. But Mohamed Adil's header got them in trouble for a moment, Bahrain. And then Silvera cannoning into Amin Bernardi.
Just a little too eager there, wasn't he? Came straight through the back.
Well, I don't mind the option of Sammy Silvera playing alongside Mitch Duke. As mentioned, he has done so a fair bit in recent weeks for Middlesbrough in the English Championship. Interesting new combination for Australia.
Well, we heard Graham Arnold just screaming a little earlier. The Bahrainian line was up. He was screaming for Sammy Silvera to make the run in behind, so using his pace to try and stretch the defensive line.
10 minutes played, and that Bahraini defence hasn't really been in too much trouble as yet. Geordie Boss going more central, and not to any great effect, really. Maybe just a little ploy to try and keep Bahrain guessing. It's a game of chess at times.
Well, that's exactly what it's going to be, this match. Just probing, just hoping that you can drag the defensive line around, drag someone out of the space, and you can get a teammate to move in behind. Needs quick ball movement.
Now, pressure being applied by Sammy Silvera using that pace. Ibrahim Lutfallah gets rid of the ball in the nick of time. Big unit, the goalkeeper, isn't he?
He is. Sammy Silvera almost getting there. He wasn't far off.
Lutfallah has got the nods, the Al Ahly goalkeeper, ahead of the vastly experienced Syed Mohammed Jaffer. And so far his defence has coped pretty well. Here's Silvera, shadowed by Al-Khalasi. And forward by Al-Hayam. Now Bahrain will look to spring forward, but it needs better quality than that from Moses Atidi.
Well, you can see there, their MO. When they win that ball, they look to fire it up to their striker, in Hashash, get players running off him.
It's a warm evening in Bani Yas, but of course it is the Gulf winter, so nothing like the searing temperatures that they get during the months of June and July, which is why the Asian Cup is being played in the month of January in Qatar. Coming together, says referee Al Hamoudi. No foul, which Bahrain wanted. Here's Connor Metcalf. Burgess. And Harry Sutter. All the players, bar Joe Gauci, camped in the Bahraini half of the field. Burgess. Goodwin. Into that congested central area. Irvine. And again, they have to turn back out, Australia, and start again. O'Neill goes more direct, but it won't stick for Duke. And Lutfalla will clear.
Well, it's important for the centre-backs for Australia to be switched on as well. You can have a lot of easy possession, as we're seeing at the moment, and then that lulls you sometimes into, well, we're in cruise mode. They need to be switched on for when that ball is turned over. Make sure that they're positioned well to recover.
This is Al Hayam, Atidi. Several Australians around him, and they've bumped him off the ball. Irvine with a slight miscue, and that allows Ali Madan to spring forward. But from Bahrain's point of view, Macca, of course, they're preparing to face South Korea, which is a really tough test for them in their opening game in Group E of the Asian Cup, and they'll probably play that way, or this way, against the Koreans as well. They've got a free kick.
And that's why it's such a good matchup for both nations, really. Like for like, really, what they'll be coming up against in their group.
Bernardi. Atidi. Pressured by Goodwin. The clearance isn't the best. Picked up by O'Neill, and he was trying to angle it towards Mitch Duke. Now Ali Madan for Bahrain. Komail Al Aswad, who's the top scorer in the local Bahraini league with 7 goals in 9 matches. And that's a foul by Goodwin.
Well, there's been a few strong challenges from the Socceroos. Sammy Silvera's thrown himself in a few times. Craig Goodwin there, and just lashing out really as he was beaten.
Well, we're at a competitive game. That might have been a yellow card. Now Jackson Irvine stolen the ball away from Ali Madan. They got back in numbers, Bahrain, and they've defended it well. And again, now they'll look to spring forward. Al Khalassi has Ali Madan in front of him, and he's got 2 runners with him, one of whom Al Hashash has gone beyond and offside. Instead, they'll work it back through Jassim Khalif. And now Mohammed Al Hadan. Bernardi. Atidi. Mohammed Adel on the right. try and start again, but cut out by Goodwin. That's when that transition needs to be quicker, but needs to be accurate too. And instead it's Bahrain coming forwards. And the cross just forced a little bit wide. Al-Khalasi and Abdullah Hashash not able to get on the end of it.
Well, they're starting to grow in confidence, aren't they, a little bit, Bahrain? They all started, Al-Hardan at the back, just reading the play and stepped in front of Mitchell Duke and won the ball back quickly.
That speaks to your point, Maka, that they also do need to be switched on, as dominant as they are in possession of the ball. It's all a bit static for Australia. Suta. Not easy to find space. And this is a 4-6-0 at the moment for Bahrain.
Yeah. You said it, Simon. It does feel a little bit like a training session, attack v defence. Well, this is why Graham Arnold wanted this match.
Metcalf trying to pick his way through. Gets a second go at it, and a shot on target. At last for Australia. Routine save for Lutfalla, but better.
He was a little more direct there, Metcalf. Lots of red shirts, isn't there? Gets a little bit fortuitous. And the shot straight down the throat of the keeper, but lots of red shirts to try and move around the edge of the box.
Sorry, Maka. First little chink in the armour, perhaps. That's a decent ball in by Craig Goodwin, but controlled by the arm of Conor Metcalf. Wasn't the best clearance.
And well, we've seen Sammy Silvera press on a couple of occasions. And it just skipped away from Metcalf there on the ground. You see, just takes a bit of a skip and bounces up. And uses his arm to bring it down.
Yeah, it did seem rather unnaturally high bounce, didn't it? Like a spitting cobra. The cobra spit?
I think they do. I'll say it's not my area of expertise.
It's not mine either, to be fair. Suta. High defensive line by Bahrain initially, but they've dropped deeper now. Metcalf. Suta. No options for him. O'Neill. Back they go through Burgess. Suta. O'Neill. And Irvine. Boss back to his captain, and he's continued the run. That's really good defensive work by Ali Madan. Nominally a striker, but not shirking his duties. And he's in position to get Bahrain out of that defensive spot of bother. They're well organised.
Yeah, he did well there, didn't he? Just needed to get a foot on that ball because it was a probing pass forward, which looked like creating something positive for the Socceroos.
Ali Madan, who as mentioned plays in the Emirates for Ajman. A bit of a hero for the Bahrainis as well. He scored the winning penalty in the shootout against Iraq in the Gulf Cup semi-final. Almost 5 years ago now. They won that final against Saudi Arabia. A trophy that is very much prized in the Gulf region. And Silvera, I think he was already thinking about the next pass, wasn't he? Maybe mindful of Graham Arnold's words of quickening things up.
Yeah. Well, Jackson Irvine had used the quick feet to move it on quickly, and it opened up and looked positive again. He just took his eye off the ball at the wrong moment for himself.
Al-Hardan claiming that was a high boot by Silvera. There's a little bit going on down there. Craig Goodwin protesting his innocence. Bahrain looking for another foul.
A lot of friends being made on this near touchline.
Fourth officials copping it from both coaches and from the players as well. Sutar. Gethin Jones again, just that little 1%er, got to control the ball immediately, and he wasn't quite able to do that.
No, it's just not been real smooth, has it, at the moment? Just go back and have
There's that little flash point.
Not too much there, is there, really?
Mitch Duke busting a gut to try and grab hold of that loose ball. But again, Bahrain are neat and tidy defensively. This is their captain, Walid Al-Hayam, to Mohamed Al-Hardan. Threading the needle, looking for Al-Aswad, but had a bit too much pace on it.
If the Socceroos are going to press high, they need to get it right. On that occasion, I think it was Lando Neal half went and then realised, well, I don't know if I can go, and all of a sudden there was a little bit of space in midfield for Bahrain.
There's Aidan O'Neill, now Cameron Burgess. Goodwin, who was clattered into, but Geordie Boss continues, rides the challenge, Australia in behind, but he couldn't quite pick out Mitch Duke in the middle.
It was a great run, wasn't it? Powerful, aggressive. Just lacking that final pass. It was really the first time the Australians have opened up the Bahrainians.
Well, they got in behind, and they've struggled to do that. Al-Halassi with the foul.
Yeah, there just seems to be a little bit of feeling coming into this game now.
Yeah, he's had a couple of grabs at Sammy Silvera. Don't really see what he's complaining about. The two coaches are not on particularly friendly terms at the moment. Tony, there was a fair bit going on down there. Here's that good moment for Australia. They managed to get in behind.
Yeah, good driving pace. Geordie Boss just looks up. And maybe that ball square to the far post might have been the better option.
Fairly detailed discussions going on in the technical zone. Meantime, Australia's free kick. Metcalf's delivery. And Lutfalla almost spilled it.
It was just a little overhit, wasn't it? And just as Mitchell Duke switched off, he just dropped the ball.
Australians making up a decent portion of a rather sparse crowd inside the Banias Stadium. Here's Goodwin. Burgess. And the familiar pattern of the game resumes. Slight miscommunication between the two central defenders. And had Bahrain been a little bit more adventurous in the way they set up defensively, they might have stolen the ball there. In the end, the Australians still had plenty of time. Burgess. Goodwin. Geordie Boss. Gethin Jones. And Burgess once more. Goodwin. First time was the cry from Irvine, he got it. Managed to keep it alive, or did he? I think the flag's gone up.
Yeah, just a little too heavy, couldn't quite get there. Well, that's the kind of movements they need. First time balls in behind with some good movement from midfield.
And so far, Bahrain have limited the Socceroos to just one shot on target. That came from Connor Metcalf on 20 minutes. Very comfortable save for Lutfalla in the Bahraini goal. They did reach the round of 16 4 years ago, Bahrain, in the UAE. Although they needed a 90th minute penalty against India in the group stage to ensure progression. Again, well defended, this time by Al Halassi. It was won by Hash, but no teammate in close attendance. That's a lovely threaded ball through by Irvine. Mitch Duke at the near post. Craig Goodwin at the far, and he's butchered it. Well, if that's on his left peg, he scores.
Well, we've seen him do that many times, haven't we? It's a lovely turn from Jackson Irvine, and the ball through is exquisite as well. And as it's put across, Duke can't quite get there. And we've seen Craig Goodwin so many times cut inside and just pass that ball into the far side, and he just got it all wrong. Best opportunity of the match so far, and he knew straight away, didn't he?
Maybe just ever so slightly reaching for the ball with the right boots. And really snatched at the opportunity, but Australia's best so far. Chances have been hard to find.
And it's no surprise that it was a quick ball forward. And Jackson Irvine with a nice little bit of skill to turn and play a ball in behind quickly.
More of that, please, says Graham Arnold. Abdullah Hash bundled over, but again, there's no whistle. And Bahrain constantly looking at referee Al Hamoudi. Maybe just to provide some relief from Australia's incessant possession and pressing. Craig Goodwin, who had that chance some moments ago, scored plenty of goals for his new side in Saudi, Al Wada. 6 in 14 games in the Saudi Pro League. Burgess. Geordie Boss. Crosses with the right boots. Metcalf trying to reload. Irvine too. Oh, that's not a great ball from Jassim Khalif. Put his team back under pressure. Silvera leaving it for Jones, who's continued the run. Gets to the byline. Couldn't find the cross. Needed better quality.
Yeah.
But that's what he's been brought into the team to try and provide.
Well, it was great build-up play. Good little run in behind. He just didn't have the quality on the cross. He had support play central as well.
Jones again. Leaves it for Silveira. Breaks for Jones. Silveira. Round one defender. And a second, but tracking back was Kormail Al-Aswad.
Well, you could hear Mitch Duke there as the ball went out to Gethin Jones. He said, click the cross in, just get the ball in the box. He's not seeing too much of the ball, Mitch Duke, so far in this match. Plenty of possession for the Socceroos, but not too much action in the goal mouth.
It's tough going for the Socceroos. The sort of test they probably needed before the Asian Cup starts. There's that previous move involving Sammy Silveira. Burgess. Geordie Boss. Now they find Mitch Duke. Better from Australia. Goodwin's low ball in. It's an own goal. Australia have the breakthrough in the 35th minute. It's unfortunate for Amin Bernardi, who turns the ball into his own net. But that pressure has finally paid off.
Well, it was nice play from the Socceroos. Some quick interchange. 1- and 2-touch football. And then an early cross that did the damage. And you see here, two-touch again, then just as all the defence is drawn central, Craig Goodwin steps forward, and we know he's lethal with that left foot. It's a wonderful ball across the 6-yard area. And Bernardi can only turn it into his own net. But on the couple of occasions that the Socceroos have moved the ball quickly, been a little bit sharper, they've created 2 opportunities. And the second ends in a goal.
And yet again, Craig Goodwin plays a part in the opening goal for Australia. 3rd international in a row. Don't know whether you get an assist for an own goal though, do you? Maybe you do.
He'll be claiming it.
Well, Graham Arnold will hope that the floodgates will now open. That Bahrain's resistance has been broken. Well, they've had to work hard for that lead. Finally, a touch of the ball for Joe Gauci. It's not a particularly good one. I'll probably say I'm still cold.
Well, it's a skill in itself to remain mentally switched on when you're out of the game for such long periods.
Graham Arnold did hint that he might give Lawrence Thomas some minutes as well, which perhaps shows that there's a little bit of concern over Matty Ryan. That's a foul on Moses Atidi by Goodwin, which he acknowledges. Now a different sort of question for Bahrain. How ambitious are they to venture out a little more?
Also, the question is, when do they venture out? Do they stay with this and hope to stay within a goal and attack the Socceroos on the counter? Or do they step it up a little? So they'd probably keep it similar for a while, and then maybe towards the end of the game, if its scoreline remains the same, they can throw a little bit of caution to the wind.
Australia's turn to appeal for a foul. Gethin Jones going down, but nothing given. Ali Madan trying to turn, but Geordie Boss there to provide some defensive reassurance. Well, one in the air by Amin Bernardi, anxious to atone for his own goal. This is Hashash and Al Hardan. It's good one-touch football by Bahrain. Aidan O'Neill trying to sort things out. Bahrain get the throw. He's done well since moving to Europe, Aidan O'Neill. Pretty much irregular now with Standard Liège in the top flight in Belgium.
There's plenty of fight for positions in this Socceroos team, isn't there now? Graham Arnold has spoke quite often about building depth, getting more players involved, having options.
That's a nice little reverse ball by Justin Khalaif. Gethin Jones has been caught and stayed down. This is Ali Madan for Bahrain. Hashash at the near post. Jones still down. Moses Atidi with Bahrain's first real shot in anger. It was well off target. And Jones down under the weight of a fairly meaty challenge.
You can see
just
there,
got that back leg caught, didn't he?
Clearly clipped, but nothing given. And then as the Bahrain got numbers forward, this is Atidi with a speculative one, a long way out. Not troubling Joe Gauci on this occasion.
Moses Atidi was actually born in Kaduna in Nigeria, but is a naturalised Bahraini. You'll see and hear a lot of those stories at the Asian Cup coming up. It's sort of the way of the world these days, isn't it? And Australia certainly not immune with the likes of Harry Sutter and Gethin Jones and Bruno Fornaroli. All with heritage or links elsewhere. Good turn by Metcalf. He was foul, but advantage played. And Irvine trying to ping it out towards Goodwin. Breaks for Atidi. Ali Madan. Oh, Sammy Silveira catching his opposite number 7. He's not particularly interested in the hand of friendship.
It's not. I'm not surprised. It wasn't the nicest of challenge.
I'll tell you what, Mac, if this is a competitive game, there might have been 1 or 2 yellow cards.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Not that referees aren't allowed to show them, of course, in friendlies, but maybe a little bit more lenient. And it shows from both sides that a big tournament is just around the corner. Playing for places.
Well, Juan Antonio Pizzi has made 3 changes from the last time they were out in their World Cup qualifiers. And so experimenting as well with his team. He wants to see the players make the positions their own as well.
Mitch Chick with the run into the channel. Well marshalled by Amin Bernardi. Inadvertent scorer of the game's only goal. 30-year-old defender who plays for Al Muharraq, one of Bahrain's biggest clubs. Actually won the AFC Cup with them 3 years ago. Competition Australian clubs, of course, now have a big interest in. Jordy Boss getting away from Atidi. Now in a scrap with Mohamed Adel, but the foul by Jordy Boss. And you can hear what he thinks about.
I don't think he agreed with that. He's done well to keep the ball in.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other a bit.
Not too much in that, is it really?
Well, those possession stats are no surprise. And while I'm sure Graham Arnold will be pleased with their work rate and their persistence, They probably want a little bit more quality.
Yeah, for all that possession and dominance, it's still only 2 shots apiece.
Mohamed Al-Hadan. Well, initially unhurried in possession, but now he's given the ball away to Jordy Boss. Goodwin to swing the ball in. It's too deep. And again, that's where you need that better quality, particularly from a player of his talent.
Yeah, you can see there he was trying to wrap the foot around it as we have another look at the goal. And that's the kind of delivery you want, right across the 6-yard, and put it in those areas, and that's exactly what can happen for a defender. Early ball in, stretching.
Here's a big chance for Mitch Duke. Well, he did everything right. Tried to hit the ball into the ground to keep it down, but in the end, the bounce took it over the top of the crossbar. A chance that came about from Bahrain's own throw-in, which Craig Goodwin nipped in and created that opportunity. And Duke, it was an awkward height. And the gymnastics were impressive.
It was an awful throw-in, wasn't it? And he'll be disappointed with himself there. Really should have made it 2-0 to the Socceroos. Went with the acrobatic.
The chances are starting to arrive with a little bit more regularity, by accident or design. Al-Hayab, Al-Hadan. Tidi scrapping for the ball with Goodwin. And it's Bahrain who get the verdict. And the Australians are not particularly happy with some of these decisions.
Oh, I have to be honest there. I thought Tidi led with the arm into the back of the head for Goodwin.
Into the 1 additional minute at the end of the opening 45. This is Al Aswad. Khalif. Back through Adil and then Al-Hadan. Can Bahrain muster an attack before the half-time whistle? Al-Hadan, he's given the ball away. But there is no time for Australia to attack. Well, Australia leads thanks to Amin Benadi's own goal on 35 minutes. They've had 1 or 2 other good chances. Craig Goodwin with 1, Mitch Duke with another. Bahrain have sat in deep blocks. It's been hard toil for the Socceroos, but they do have that narrow advantage going in at half-time. Bahrain 0, Australia 1. And as the players go off for a break, we will do the same thing. Join Neve Owens, Luke Wilkshire and Eric Partaloo after the break for their take on the first half.
Time in Abu Dhabi, it's the Socceroos 1, Bahrain 0. The Socceroos dominated possession, field position as expected, but it took an own goal to break the deadlock in the Aussies' last hit out before the Asian Cup kicks off this week. Hello, I'm Neve Owens. Welcome to the halftime show on this Paramount Plus exclusive. It's great to be here alongside Eric Partaloo and Luke Wilkshire. Lukey, the Socceroos struggling to break down that low block at the moment. They're going to see it again and again throughout the Asian Cup. How do they get that width that they need?
Yeah, well, we expected for this kind of game. We knew Bahrain were going to sit in and play on the break, and they've done that. And as we suggested, we've struggled to create and to break them down. It's taken an own goal for us to get the edge. And the one time we actually were a little bit quicker in ball movement and going inside to then pop it out, we get the goal. But, at the moment we're struggling to create real clear-cut chances.
Yeah, I think once the game got a little bit of spice in there and Craig Goodwin started pushing and shoving, it actually lifted his game and allowed him to go and put that great ball in across the face of goal. And I think in terms of just getting that width, the ball movement needs to be quicker and just to take a little bit more risk.
Let's have a look at that one goal that the first half did pay off. And as you mentioned there, Lukey, it showed what can happen if you actually get some quick ball movement.
Yeah, it was just a little bit quicker here, going inside, playing in the pockets and then to go out. And you see there then the space, and it's all about the ball. Look, we spoke about before the game, getting players in near post, back post and cutbacks. There's no one across the near post. But fortunately, the quality of the ball, it's difficult to defend. And, that slice of luck sends it into the goal.
It's a great finish, isn't it?
It's a great finish. He's trying to be able to
yeah,
looking for it.
Craig Goodwin couldn't manage one on his right foot early on. So it's exactly what Luke was talking about before against Bangladesh. They're the sorts of areas that the Socceroos need to find themselves in, getting players to make more runs. And actually with that one, Mitchell Duke probably should have made a near post run, which he hasn't been doing enough of.
Let's have a look at the Aussie chances that were created in that first half, Lukey. Only one shot on target in the first half, 3 shots, but there were moments where you could see that they were building.
Yeah, there were. This is one where Metcalf's coming, trying to link in with Duke. He didn't. He gets a rebound, a snapshot, and again here going wide. But a little bit of intensity. Geordie Boss driving at the defence, And again here we look. Mitchell Duke goes for the cutback where he should be going across the near post. That fluency and timing of the runs isn't quite there. Again, another one. Here we'll get the ball wide, Mitch Duke, and then Goodwin on another day.
Yeah, sort of scored there, hasn't he? He did the right thing coming inside onto that right foot of his. Great ball in from Sammy there. And that's what you want, getting 4 or 5 numbers into the box. When it's time to go forward, the Socceroos need to try and get there. But we've seen Mitchell Duke do a few splits when he scored a few goals as a celebration. Almost got an acrobatic finish there. Probably should have scored to make it 2-0.
Struggling to get involved, though, isn't he, Mitch Duke?
Well, you wonder, and I only spoke about him getting minutes because he hasn't played for a while since the Japanese League finished. And that bit of rustiness going into a tournament, and this is why you have these games, right? Yeah. But you can clearly see that.
Bahrain, on the other hand, as we expected, Eric, with a couple of opportunities in transition, are a team like India watching this game and looking at it as a real blueprint in terms of how to approach Australia?
Absolutely it is. They'll be watching this game thinking we can do the exact same thing, soak up pressure, get men forward. Al-Hashash has got forward quite a number of times, getting forward, and these are the areas they want to find themselves in, sitting in a low block and then getting width and going and hurting Australia with pace. And I think in this second half, we're going to see a lot more of this.
Oh, for sure, Arnie will be touching on this as well because this is important from Australia's perspective. We're going to face that in the Asian Cup, and that, as they call it, rest defence, or if in transition, we need to be switched on because you lose balls in the edge of the box and you see they go at pace, and with a little bit more quality, they could hurt Australia. And we know that going into against other teams, it can take 1 or 2 that have the quality to finish. So we've got to be very wary.
Let's have a look at the Subway subs now, because we mentioned in the pre-game there is a whole heap of talent and experience on the bench for Graham Arnold. Who are you looking at, Lukey? We've mentioned the fact that Mitch Duke is struggling because of the timed game it is to get involved. Who are you bringing on?
Yeah, look, I would like to, like I said, I think Bruno Fornaroli is in great form, deserves the opportunity. He can play in the pockets and link in and bring people into play. Also someone like Marco Tilio, who can unlock a defence, someone who can really unlock the defence.
Yeah, for me it's Marty Boyle and Marco Tilio as well to come on at half-time, just to change something in that dynamic. But I think everyone's going to struggle to have an influence on this game, but you want to see maybe a bit more in that final third, taking a bit more risk, and players like Marty Boyle and Bruno Fornaroli will give you that.
Sammy Silvera is moving positionally, isn't he, with and without the ball. We're seeing him there on the right, Luke, as you expected, and perhaps not as the information we thought pre-game. How do you want to see him used better in this second half? And is it some of those double-up runs on the edge? Yeah,
look, Sammy he's a winger. He likes to face people. He likes to go one-on-one. And we've seen him and Metcalf sort of, rotate in and out in that position. But, for me, he is definitely at his best when he can get wide, get one-on-one and go at people.
He's showing, isn't he, that he has serious potential in this Socceroos side.
If he gets it right, he could be one of the best players that Socceroos have had. And I mean that. He gets forward, he's direct, he's entertaining. Just that final product, when to know to go and dribble and cut things back, when to know to shoot and link. But what I like about him, he's staying central defensively and he's actually swapping over sides when he goes and doubles up. So that position for him's, all over the place at the moment.
You've been a part of this Socceroos setup for a long time, Lukey. You're familiar with Graham Arnold and this coaching team. What's his message going to be at half-time?
No, he'll definitely be touching on the transitional moments and making sure that is in order, because that's going to be crucial. And he'll be for sure wanting to see more creativity. He knows, even before Bangladesh and the other games that we've had, they're creating more and more chances, but we're not taking them. And I think he won't be happy with the fact that we haven't created enough.
You could feel frustration building at times throughout that first half, on the edge and the sideline, the coaches' dugout, but out in the middle as well. How do they avoid that?
Yeah, that's the thing. When you're a team that's ranked lower than Australia, the only way to get under our skin is to try and frustrate you. Even the bench, you can see Craig Goodwin shouting at the referees, telling them to be quiet. So there's a lot of frustration that happens in these games because you're playing against a block, and keeping possession is difficult. But they just need to keep their cool, because they're going to face this 3 or 4 times in the group stage, I think, the Australian side.
Heaps coming up for you in the second half of this game and in the Asian Cup over the next month as well. Time for a very quick break here on Paramount Plus. You'll hear from your commentary team on the other side. And don't forget, another P Plus exclusive this week. You'll see Arsenal up against Liverpool in the FA Cup.
Let's deliver this half-time team talk. His team has found a big red bus parked in front of them, and they found creating goal-scoring opportunities pretty tricky. Juan Antonio Pizzi, the coach of Bahrain, can certainly say that his team has stuck to the game plan, bar that one moment when Craig Goodwin's cross was driven into the roof of his own net by defender Amin Bernardi. And it's been feisty at times as well. Really, Daniel McBreen, it's been a friendly in name only, which we should expect, I guess, with a major tournament just a matter of days away.
Yeah, of course. Lots of players looking to cement their spot for the tournament. And it started off quite friendly. 15, 20 minutes in, it all changed, and there was a few choice tackles going in. And it all escalated from there.
Talking of all change, we expect some substitutions. Maybe we'll get some at half-time. But we are still waiting for the players. And Bahrain have not really created too much. Australia been pretty comfortable at the back. Just 1 or 2 moments where they've had to be switched on defensively. There's one of the potential changes for Australia, Martin Boyle, although you might remember 4 years ago, Graham Arnold played him in the pre-season, pre-tournament game against Oman, and he got a knee injury and missed the tournament. Kai Rolls perhaps is considering what he should do if he comes on in the second half. The Australian fans in the stands enjoying their half-time food and drink. The Bahrainis a little bit less so. But they know that this class of opposition is what they're going to come up against in 9 days' time against South Korea when they open their Asian Cup campaign in Group E. Australia, of course, in Group B, along with India, Syria and Uzbekistan. And that is the order of fixtures that they will play in Doha. Players, it appears, in no particular hurry to get back out on the pitch. They were a little bit tardy at the start as well, so a little bit of extra time for the supporters to enjoy their food. Let's have a look at the goal that divides the two teams. It came in the 35th minute. Craig Goodwin with the cross after some good build-up play by Australia.
Yeah, it was the sharpest piece of play from the Socceroos in the first half, and ended up in the back of the net. Some slick play central, brought all the red shirts centrally, and Craig Goodwin with a wonderful ball in. A little bit fortuitous with the own goal, but It's the quality of the cross that really caused the problems for the Bahrainian defence.
And as we mentioned in the first half, the third game in a row that Craig Goodwin has assisted the opening goal in Australia's last 3 internationals. The previous 2 both from corners, both headed in by Harry Sutar. So a little bit later than expected. The players reappear after the half-time break. Ali Madan, who you just saw there, the Bahraini number 7, has been involved in 1 or 2 little confrontations, particularly with Craig Goodwin. Gethin Jones back out for the second half. He picked up a rather nasty-looking knock towards the end of that opening period, but is okay to go for the second stanza. So all set to go for the second half at the Bani Yas Stadium. As we wait on the whistle of Mohammed Al Hamoudi. No confirmation of any changes made by either coach. And Bahrain in the all-red, preparing to get us back underway for the second half, which is now about 3 or 4 minutes late by our watch. And off we go again, second 45. Australia looking to go into that major tournament, not just with a win, but with a good performance. And I'm sure their coach will have asked for a little bit more urgency and a lot more quality in the final third.
Yeah, I think he'll want them to move the ball a lot quicker. It's been a little laboured at times. It's hard to break down a set defence when you move the ball slowly. You really need to have someone who's willing to get on the ball in dangerous areas and move it quickly.
Craig Goodwin crowded out. Moses Atidi getting the ball forward for Bahrain, but there's nobody there in red. And this is Cameron Burgess. Now becoming a regular, the Ipswich Town defender in the starting lineup. This is his 4th cap. Going pretty well with his club side in the Championship in England as well. They're promotion hopefuls. Sadly, of course, his club teammate Massimo Luongo announcing his retirement on the eve of the Asian Cup.
From international football.
From international football, not from all football. And that promotion push, perhaps partly the reason.
Well, I'm sure it's a big reason.
Now, Mitch Duke looking to steal in on that back pass. Goodwin just dallied a moment on the ball. This is Khalif. And Al Aswad goes down, but again, the referee keeping his whistle firmly in his pocket. Sami Silvera on the right, steered away by Al Hayam. One back by Irvine. And Goodwin with a bit of time. It's just beyond Jackson Irvine. Will be an Australian corner, though, off Amin Bernardi.
Well, there's the urgency you were asking for. And Jackson Irvine wearing the captain's armband tonight. Regaining the possession and then making good run into the box.
Australia haven't had too many corners. Harry Sutar, of course, will make his way forward. Are we going to see that combination again? Goodwin onto the head of big Harry Sutar. Bahrain will have prepared for this, of course. But he can be difficult to stop. Goodwin's delivery, and Jackson Irvine got clean contact. Bahrain had a body behind the ball. It was a good decoy, really, in the end, wasn't he? Sutar, he's still up for this attack. One in the air by Gethin Jones. Forward by Al-Halasi. And out of Al-Aswad. Burgess. Boss for O'Neill. They were searching for Goodwin, couldn't find him. Al-Hadan with Mitch Duke nipping away at his heels. This is Atidi. This looks a bit better, more promising for Bahrain. Hashash on the right, Atidi. Australia slow that momentum. Atidi. That's a nice turn in midfield from Ali Madan.
Left jackal, left jackal, left jackal, do right.
Al Hayab. Australia with a slightly higher defensive block than Bahrain had in the first half. Nice ball by Al-Khalasi. Al-Aswad moves it out right. Al-Hadan. Bernardi sidesteps Goodwin, and then his own teammate rather got in his way, but still with Alamar, the red. Probably their most sustained spell of possession in the game. Al-Hayam. Now Ali Madan. Al-Hayam. Al-Aswad. Turned back by Atidi. There's not much penetration as yet from Bahrain, but they've kept hold of the ball quite nicely, as Jassim Khalif manages to do, and fires it cross-field for Mohammed Adil. Bernardi. Al-Hadan. They've strung together about 20 or 30 passes here, Bahrain. Where's this been the whole evening?
They're knocking it around with confidence now, aren't they? As you say, though, not much penetration.
Al-Aswad. Juan Antonio Pizzi would love to see some end product at the end of this, but they've turned the ball over and they committed some numbers forward. Australia might profit from that. Fired in by Boss, and Al-Hadan slides it out of play for an Australian corner. So at the end of all that, they've still got more defending to do.
And as you say, Simon, their most sustained period of possession ends with a chance for the Socceroos at the other end. And this is the last chance. You see on the floor, Mohammed Adel.
He was playing the draft excluder without there being a free kick.
Very good improvisation.
Just the second corner of the game. Is Sutar to be used as a decoy again? Yeah, it's beyond him, looking for Irvine. Geordie Boss to reset. Silvera, who's buzzed around trying to find pockets of space which have been at a premium. Up in the air by Irvine. Volleyed away by Ali Madan for Bahrain. Sutar made sure he got enough purchase on that header back to his goalkeeper. Just for a moment had visions of that game. Was it against Oman? Australia drew, or Mexico?
Mexico, yeah.
Where he left it a fraction short for Matty Ryan.
Yeah. No such problems on this occasion, but Bahrain showing a little bit more in the pressing as well in this second half. A little bit higher.
Keep the ball speed high. Shift it.
Silvera. It's a clear foul by Komail Al-Aswad.
Well, he's been busy, Sam Silvera, hasn't he? Trying to create something.
Chested down by Boss. Irvine. O'Neill. Touch forward by Burgess. Again, Australia having to be patient. Gethin Jones. Burgess. Chance for Geordie Boss to try and run at the fullback, but stood up well there by Mohamed Adel. And a Bahrain free kick for holding by Aidan O'Neill.
Yeah.
Changes for Bahrain. We're going to see the introduction of Mohamed Marhoun, wearing number 8. And Ahmed Youssef, who's one of those overseas-based players. That's Mohamed Marhoun, who's also based overseas, plays for the Kuwait Sports Club. Jassim Khalif and Abdullah Hashash, the two players replaced. It's Abdullah Youssef, who's a big striker, 30 years of age. Plays in the Czech Republic for Mlada Boleslav and has also played in the UEFA Champions League for one of his former clubs in that country, Slavia Prague. He's 6 foot 4 inches tall, so a big, powerful striker. Give them perhaps a little bit more of a physical threat up top, although Hashash wasn't small either.
No, Al has provided an outlet, worked hard.
Yeah, the little Rabona from Marhoun. He's one of the country's most promising players, although he is 25 now. There he is, scored 8 goals in Kuwait Sports Club's league title win in Kuwait last season. And he's got plenty of tricks up his sleeve. 2 attacking changes made by Juan Antonio Pizzi. Showing a bit more intent.
Well, they are. Second half, I think they've shown a little bit more intent in their press as well, a little higher. They had that good spell of the ball where they moved it round. There wasn't really an outcome to it, but showing a little bit more promise in the second half. They want to get something from this game.
First half own goal still separating the teams. Mitch Duke and Craig Goodwin had other chances to add to the tally. Not much as yet in the second half, and a mistake by Harry Sutter could open the door for Bahrain. And Marhoun's ball is a good one to pick out Ali Madan. Australia quickly get numbers back. This is Mohamed Adel. There's nobody at the back post, and out by Gethin Jones. Silvera. No way past Al-Halassi. Oh, and there's appeals for handball there against Aidan O'Neill. Referee Al-Hamoudi says no. A momentary scare for the Socceroos.
There's a few nervous glances towards the referee there. That ball appeared to come off the arm of Aidan O'Neill. It was down by his side.
Just a little more to think about for the Socceroos second half. Graham Arnold yet to make a change. Just too far in front of Goodwin, off O'Neill. It's a good test. Let's have another look at this potential handball. All the arms went up from the Bahrainis. He's trying to get the arm away. Oh, you know,
Tell you what,
if there's VAR,
yeah, he might have got away with one there.
I reckon they would have had a pretty strong case for a penalty there, Bahrain.
Tackles are still flying in, aren't they?
Well, different sort of a test now for Graham Arnold's team.
I just wonder how long until Graham Arnold calls on the substitutes.
Forward by Suta, touch around the corner by Silveira. He's in position for the return. It's just a fraction strong. Tackles flying in left, right and centre. At the end of it all, Geordie Boss comes away with the ball. Now Metcalf. Gethin Jones pushing forward down the right. Side steps away from Al-Khalasi. Behind him is Aidan O'Neill. And at the back post, surely a goal. Yeah, Mitch Duke nods it in from Craig Goodwin's centre. And Australia have doubled their advantage. After that little spell of Bahraini pressure, it is Australia who strike again. And Mitch Duke has his 12th goal for his country.
Well, it was a wonderful ball in that really created the opportunity for the Socceroos. There was 3 shirts at the back post area. It was Gethin Jones who made the forward 4-8, and he just lays it back. Look at that ball. 3 Socceroos at the back. Craig Goodwin with the nod across. He can't stop getting assists in the green and gold. And Mitch Duke, he hasn't had much service tonight, but he's right on the spot to get his head to that one and tuck it away for the Socceroos.
2 assists for Craig Goodwin. And that is the signal for Graham Arnold to go to his bench. Bahrain perhaps still irritated they didn't get a penalty some minutes before that. Cassini Yengi, Riley McGree, Kai Rolls. That's 3 of the quartet that are going to be introduced shortly for Australia. Aziz Bayic is the 4th. Well, Craig Goodwin has been right at the heart of it tonight in more ways than one. He's had a bit to say too to the referee at times. Very frustrated by some of the decisions that didn't go his way. And here come the changes for Australia. Cam Burgess will make way for Kai Rolls. Riley McGree will replace Connor Metcalf. Mitch Duke makes his way off after scoring the 2nd goal. Cassini Yengi takes his spot. And Aziz Bayic also introduced, I assume, at the expense of Geordie Boss. So So Graham Arnold makes his move with the 2-goal cushion secured. And in particular, Macca, in fact, yeah, Cameron Burgess is one of that quartet that was replaced. Geordie Boss is still on the park, so Boss will play in advance of Aziz Behich. Craig Goodwin is the 4th man to be replaced. Quite the contribution from the winger, though.
He was kind of frustrated figure at times, didn't he, with some of the decisions he wasn't happy with, but obviously the cross for the first own goal and then an assist. He's making his mark with the assists.
Here's Kasuni Yengi. He's doing really well for his club side Portsmouth in England's League One. Starting to make a name for himself over in Europe, and he's earned his team a corner. On for just his 2nd cap. Riley McGree taking over corner kick duties with Goodwin off the park. And near post was Kai Rolls. Not too far away from claiming what would have been his first international goal.
It's a good ball in, isn't it? He gets up well, Kai Rolls. Looking to guide it into that far area of the goal. And Graham Arnold said that Riley McGree's looking really fresh. He's been only injured for a little while, but looks really hungry and sharp.
He's missed out on the last few camps because of that injury, but very handy player for Graham Arnold to have back. Oh, Joe Gachi almost showed too much of it to Ali Madad. Actually, the first real work he's had to do.
He's cutting it fine, wasn't he? Gee, he just bring it back in and done almost. Stole it away from him.
Gethin Jones blocked off by Al Hayam, but Australia go again. Silvera's offside here.
Well, he knew he was offside, didn't he, Sam Silvera? He tried to stop, but the ball still came.
More changes afoot, this time for Bahrain. Komal Al-Aswad takes his leave. Ibrahim Al-Khattal, his replacement. And Ali Madan, who's been very busy tonight for Bahrain. Has his number called. And Ali Saeed is his replacement. Silvera stopped in his tracks. Marhoun. Al-Khalasi. Oh, that was awkward for Gauchi. That's a good stop, that, at the near post. I'm not sure he was expecting that.
No. I think we're all expecting the cross. You see here, he just turns. Not sure if he's aiming for the goal or he's trying to fire it across.
I think it takes a deflection off O'Neill, which maybe spins it towards goal. It's produced a corner for Bahrain. I think it's their first of the game. Ball's still in play. Everybody stopped for a moment. Now the flag goes up. Well, Joe Gauchi will probably be glad of the work, to be honest.
Well, it has been a quiet night for him, hasn't it?
It's a good, smart reaction stop. Look at the press now from Bahrain. The other teams in their group, Malaysia and Jordan. That's in Group E. Forward by O'Neill, who was caught, but advantage played. Worked wide by Silvera, just not quite the angle. And Mohamed Adel was able to nip in. Upfield it goes off Bernardi.
He's coming, Jacko, behind you. He's coming.
Irvine. Aziz Bayic. Aziz Bayic, incidentally, most experienced outfield player in terms of caps in the Australian Asian Cup squads. Not due to the absence of Matt Leckie, of course. O'Neill couldn't make Yangi's ball into a good one. Well, Qatar crowded out on that far side. Sutter. Bit of room for Gethin Jones, although he was quickly shut down by Ali Said. What are you made of Gethin Jones's debut?
Well, it's been okay. It hasn't been outstanding. I think the way the game has panned out probably hasn't helped him too much. It's been a really difficult one with the way that Bahrain has set out.
So jury out as to whether he's the chosen one at right back.
It's
been the big talking point, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is the position that there are a number of players fighting for.
Here's Silvera. Wrong option, perhaps, from Sammy Silvera. Can't fault his work rate tonight, though. Mitch Duke, one of the goal scorers. Now taking a well-earned rest. He's another one, really, that needed the game time. His season in Japan in J2, where they won promotion to the J-League, ended in late November with Machida Zelvia, his club.
And we spoke about Joe Gauci and the centre-backs having to be switched on.
Foul by Irvine, although Australia don't think so.
I was just about to say, here's another one. Didn't have too much service tonight. Wasn't on the ball too much, but when he was needed, there he was. The ball comes back across from Craig Goodwin, and there he is in the middle to get on the end of it.
He's been keeping himself fit by training in England, where some of his family are based, Mitch Duke. And he was sprightly enough to get on the end of that header back across goal by Craig Goodwin. To make the scoreline a little more comfortable for Graham Arnold's team. Sutter. First time ball by Silvera. Forward by Al Hayam for Bahrain. That's a handy ball. Marhoun. One or two brighter moments for Bahrain, but just the one real test for Joe Gauci. Big shout for handball as well, of course, against Aidan O'Neill. As it stands, Australia will have what would be a 4th consecutive clean sheet as Graham Arnold prepares Marco Tilio and it seems Nathaniel Atkinson as well. Marco Tilio in particular needs some minutes in his legs, doesn't he?
Well, he does.
It's a really good turn by McGree. Across the face it goes, out by Al Hayam. This is Al Hadam, robbed on the blind side by McGree. Trying to tee up Irvine, but sliding in was Mohammed Adil, who's maybe got a touch of cramp. McGree. Boss breaks for McGree, Irvine, O'Neill. Back through Rolls. Gethin Jones got the call too late, perhaps. Silvera tracking back. He's been nice and busy, nice and bright, hasn't he, Sammy Silvera? Not always had the final product.
No, it hasn't always worked for him, but he's tried to get involved as much as possible. He's been very physical in the press as well, thrown himself about.
He's almost been given license to sort of roam around that front third, try and find space and pick up possession in the pockets. Into the final quarter of an hour at the Baniyas Stadium. One in the air by Sutar, and then Bahrain claiming a kick from behind from Gethin Jones, and the referee had to think about it before awarding the free kick.
He took his time, didn't he? Just wondering if he was trying to work out if there was an advantage.
More changes for Bahrain. Moses Atidi, who's worked hard in midfield, replaced by Mohammed Abdul Wahab. And Al Khalasi's number is called as well. There's Abdul Wahab, who is a midfielder. And Mohammed Al Qayyum is the replacement for Al Qayasi. Just a third cap for Qayyum. Atkinson and Tilio wait. Free kick to be taken by Mohammed Marhoun. Too much elevation.
Not troubling Joe Gauci on that occasion. Just couldn't get the dip back down on it.
So Gethin Jones' debut comes to a close. After 75 minutes, Nathaniel Atkinson will get his chance to show what he can do at right back. And Sammy Silvera is withdrawn as well as Marco Tilio returns to national team colours. The Celtic winger has played only 27 minutes so far this season for Celtic.
Well, he'll only be better for the minutes. He needs to get a lot more minutes in his career as well.
Well, there is talk, of course, of a loan move, potentially back to the A-League with Sydney FC and Melbourne City as two former clubs said to be very keen.
Yeah, and also with the Olympics and the qualifiers coming up later in the year as well, he needs to be at top form.
Nathaniel Atkinson has had his problems as well, but more so with injury. And he's back the last month or so with Hearts. Amin Bernardi flattened by the imposing figure of Kasidi Yengi. Just took a ride over the shoulder.
Yeah, well, to be fair to Kasidi Yengi there, I think he pulled out at the last minute. He's a big man.
Now the space for Marco Tilio on the right. Can he make it count? Not quite able to thread it through for Jackson Irvine. He's going to get a second bite at it here. Works it wide for Bajic. O'Neill, Irvine, McGree, and Tilio. Pushing forward on the outside is Nathaniel Atkinson. He's found beautifully. Or is he? No, just cut off at the pass by Walid Al-Hayam. Was the right idea.
Yeah, it's been the story of the night for the Socceroos. With that final pass, just a little underhit or overhit.
Some of the tricks and flicks that we've seen tonight. It was a nice little package put together by our director, wasn't it? Do you ever do a Rabona, Macca?
Oh, probably fell over.
Bruno Fornaroli's done a couple. Mike Graham-Arnold, have a look at him last few minutes.
Well, he's certainly a player who is in form, isn't he? Talk about players getting minutes and in form. Well, I don't think there's anyone in the Socceroos squad that is in the form that he's in right now.
Having said that, Graham-Arnold has made 6 substitutions, which pretty sure is still the limit for friendlies, so have to wait for the Asian Cup for Bruno. His Melbourne Victory team kept their run going earlier on today.
They left it late, didn't they?
3-2 winners over Perth Glory. Al-Hayam is looking forward to playing in his 4th Asian Cup, 35-year-old. Mahoun, just too many Socceroos around him. Suta. It's certainly been more of an even contest in the second half. Not that Bahrain have put too much pressure on Joe Gauci, but they've had a lot more attacking intent.
And they've had a little bit more possession in this second half as well. They've pressed a little higher at times, trying to put the Socceroos under pressure. It's been a workmanlike performance from the Socceroos. Plenty to work on.
Al-Hayam saying, give me an option. Rolled forward by Mohamed Al-Hadan. I guess the other question, Macca, as we tick towards the final minutes in Bani Yas, is which of the players that perhaps not guaranteed a starting 11 spot of the Asian Cup have really put their hand up tonight. Would Silvera be one?
Well, he's been probably the most active player, isn't he? Look, trying to get involved, get on the ball. He's moved around.
Tilio. McGree offside.
That was a tight one. Just went a little too early, according to the assistant referee. But yeah, just getting back to it, Sam Silvera has been busy. Aidan O'Neill back in midfield tonight as well.
Yep, neat and tidy.
Yeah.
Free kick for Bahrain. Foul on Ahmed Yusuf. Abdullah Yusuf, I should say. Mahun. Gauci to clear. Charged down by Tilio. McGree. Trying to get Australia moving forward. That pass was left a fraction short by Boss. Jackson Irvine has remedied the situation. O'Neill. Boss. Bajic. It's just overrun it, as is Bajic. That's another question, I guess. As is Bajic or Geordie Boss at left back? Assuming that Craig Goodwin is nailed on for the more advanced position, which Geordie Boss is now playing. Here is Geordie Boss, driving into the box and appealing in vain for a foul.
Well, I think it's a dead cert that Craig Goodwin would be in that more advanced position.
So Bajic or Boss at left back for you?
I think I'd be going with Boss. I don't think he's been exceptional tonight. I think he does have a lot of promise. So we have another look. Craig Goodwin's ball in for the own goal.
That came in the first half in the 35th minute. Mitch Duke added a second again from Goodwin's assist. Both players now off the field. And Australian fans satisfied with what they've seen. Mitch Duke now has 12 goals for his country, although the rumour is it's 13 because he reckons he's got that goal against New Zealand that Harry Souttar insists is his. So who's correct?
Well, I guess whatever the records say. I would argue that Harry Souttar had never played at that ball, so would go to Mitchell Duke.
You're just part of the strikers' union.
Maybe.
Geordie Boss's persistence almost paying off here. Meantime, Bahrain have got a bit of a problem with Mohamed Adel. He's had to toil hard down that right flank for Bahrain, keeping tabs on the likes of Boss and Goodwin. The other question, Macca, is it Souttar and Rolls or is it Souttar and Burgess to start at the Asian Cup in the heart of defence?
I think he seems to be leaning towards Burgess recently. Two big fellas at the back, imposing figures.
And a threat at set pieces, of course, as well. Now, was there a little touch there off Al Hayam before it went dead, the ball? I suspect there might have been. Let's have a look.
I'm not sure if he touched it just before or after the line. It's a close one. There was definitely a touch.
It's been a game that's been played in a very, very competitive spirit. And sometimes has strayed just the wrong side of the line. As we move into the last 90 seconds of the regulation 90, and McGree frees. Yengi on the left, Tilio waiting in the middle. Yengi driving for the byline. That's going to be a goal kick.
That's great defending. Stood up, waited for the opportunity, and then played the ball off Yengi. Tried to outpace him, Cassini Yengi. And I mean, Beniti, that's a great challenge.
Well, Jackson Irvine, apologies for the rather strong language, but it's indicative of the frustration that the Socceroos have felt tonight with some of the decisions. Mind having said that, Bahrain were furious they didn't get a penalty, so it does even itself up, doesn't it, over the course of a game.
It's been hotly contested. We've seen both coaches on the sideline getting into it as well.
Wouldn't quite stick for Yengi. Good skill by Mahoon. Sutar there to steady things down for Australia. 90 minutes almost up. Tilio around one defender. He's then chopped down by Al Hardan. And as we tick over into stoppage time, just the second yellow card of the game is issued to Mohamed Al Hardan for chopping down Marco Tilio.
I think he's been one of Bahrain's best tonight as well. It was a bit agricultural there.
Well, the last thing Graham Arnold wants is injuries. Tilio's up and about, which is good to see. Into the first of 4 additional minutes as Bahrain try to release one of their substitutes, Al Khatal, on the right, but Joe Gauci out to play sweeper keeper. Anxious to keep a clean sheet. Joe Gauci for the first time at international level. Geordie Boss. It's well defended. Even though Australia felt they should have had a corner. Again, let's see if they're right.
Goal kick it is.
Come on, get off the fence, Maka.
Well, both teams have felt aggrieved during the match, haven't they? Jackson Irvine still having words with the referee.
Two minutes to go in Banias. And Geordie Boss in bother again. He's had a running commentary the last few minutes with Mohamed Al Hamoudi. I don't think he complained too much about that one.
No, I think he's just come in from behind a little bit.
So Maka marks out of 10 for this Australian performance.
Well, it's a pass. It hasn't been... Yeah.
So is that a 5 or a 6?
6. I'll give it a 6. Look, there's plenty to work on, isn't there?
Yep.
And there's a reason that Graham Arnold wanted this match is for this exact reason. It is difficult to break down a team that is set and organised. And he wanted it to be difficult.
And it will be come the Asian Cup. Maybe a late chance here for Bahrain. Ali Saeed on the turn. Nothing to unduly worry Joe Gauci. Just a hopeful ball forward, but Mahoon caused bother for Atkinson. Ali Saeed shot. Well wide in the end. Maybe the final chance to widen the tally. Marco Tilio gets a shot on target, but an easy take for Ibrahim Lutfalla. Well, he's been bright off the bench, Tilio.
Yeah, he has. He's been lively since coming on. Well, they've got the job done.
But a bit to chew on for Graham Arnold. As you say, Mac, a job done for Australia. A win as they head to the Asian Cup. No goal for Harry Sutar for a change tonight. An own goal from Amin Bernardi in the first half, and then Mitch Duke in the second. 2 assists for Craig Goodwin. The real thing starts against India in a week's time, but in Baniyas, they have beaten Bahrain for the 6th time at international level by 2-0. We're off to a quick break. On the other side of it, Neve and the team will give us their thoughts on Australia's performance. Back soon.
Simon Macca, thank you so much. So victory for Australia in their last hit out before the Asian Cup kicks off. An own goal in the first half and a Mitch Duke header in the second, enough to clinch a 2-0 win over Bahrain. Former Socceroos Eric Partloo and Luke Wilkshire are here in the studio. Gents, the Aussies found it hard, Lukey, to break down that low block tonight. They got the result they were after. What did you make of it as a whole?
Yeah, got the result. Look, I think... you know, Macca described it as a pass, and I think that's what it is. He only got what he wanted. He got minutes in the legs. He got the result that he wanted. No injuries leading into the Asia Cup is massive, but far from convincing. We weren't great in creating chances, especially in the second half.
Yeah, you said it. They ticked the box tonight, and I think that's what friendlies are used for in these sort of areas in you know, tournament football. No injuries, got minutes in the legs. And, you know, Mitchell Duke adds to his tally, which is great to see as well. And that was a really well-worked goal. But defensively, maybe just a question mark still on who the best back four is for Graham Arnold.
That goal itself was a real highlight, wasn't it? That was a beautiful piece of play. We'll have a look at the goals in just a moment's time. But it came in a game where the Aussies, despite all of the possession they had, Lukey, struggled to create really clear-cut chances.
Yeah, I think that'll be the big problem. I think, you know, yes, a great second goal, another ball into the box and Dukey there, but, you know, in general, we didn't see the goalkeeper worked. We didn't really create much. I think it was only probably 4 shots on target, maybe 6 shots all game. It's not enough against a team like Bahrain, and the amount of dominance in possession that we have. And I'm sure that's something that he'll be hoping to address because we're going to face it.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the goals now. This came in the first half, and it was a moment, Eric, where we saw some quick ball payoff.
Yeah, and there's 4 or 5, you know, Aussie shirts in the box there, and all Craig Goodwin had to do there was just put it into an area. And against low blocks, that's what you want. That's a superb ball at the far post, and Goodwin had the presence of mind just to guide it back. And that's what happens in international football. It's in those key moments inside the 18-yard box, Luke.
Yeah, 100%. Like, this was all about the ball. The ball from Aidan O'Neill. He's on a dime. Goodwin in the back post. And again, this is bodies in the box. And this is one of our strengths. And, you know, I don't think we saw that enough. I don't think we saw enough balls into the box. Getting in, when we scored the first one, the same, we prod through the middle, then to go out when you got that low block and then to get bodies in the box. I think we could have done more of it. But it's tick.
That came at a moment, Eric, where Bahrain were really working their way back into the contest. They offered more in an attacking sense in the second half, and the Aussies looked really frustrated at times.
Yeah, they were decent in keeping possession. They weren't just sitting in and waiting and then getting the ball and lumping it forward. They're actually quite tidy in possession. So, you know, against India next week, that's a challenge they're going to face as well, a team that likes to sit in but can keep possession in areas. But the back four still, for Graham Arnold, he's got to a few sleepless nights, I think, who's going to play at right back and possibly alongside Harry Suter. But, you know, in terms of getting forward, yes, we need to take a little bit more risks.
You're in a good position, Lukey, right back, to tell us what you think of that back four decision that Graham Arnold has ahead of him. Did Gethin Jones do enough tonight to keep that spot?
Look, I thought he did okay, like everyone. I don't think anyone's really gone there and changed what Graham Arnold had in his mind in terms of leading into India in the first place. I think, you know, he's reserved Martin Boyle, who I think we'll see. I think Bacchus will come back into midfield. You know, so look, the right back position, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think that's one to be, he did okay. But did he do something to dislodge Miller or Atkinson? I'm not sure.
We'll have a look ahead to that clash with India in a moment's time. But let's head pitch side now and hear from the bloke with 2 assists to his name tonight, Craig Goodwin.
Craig, 2 assists for you tonight. How do you rate your team's? How do you rate the team's performance?
Yeah, look, obviously happy with the result. But I think these games are important. Obviously, it's a build-up to the real tournament, and it's important for us to put in a good performance. Obviously, we're happy with the result. There's still some things that we can work on and to be a little bit tidier in possession. But, overall happy, and it's more minutes in the legs for some boys that have been off for a couple of weeks as well.
It certainly looked tough out there. A good warm-up before the first group game against India.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably similar to some of the games that we'll encounter at this Asian Cup. So, it's going to be, I think a tough competition. But like we've said previously, we have the aspirations to go very deep into the competition. So it's important for us to get the minutes, get used to playing together again, and having that mentality of being ruthless.
And familiar conditions for you, obviously very helpful in your preparation for the tournament.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you're used to this probably style of football and to this weather as well. So it's, familiar to this region, and I'm hoping that experience can help the team.
Excellent. Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Craig Goodwin continues to add to that assists tally. An assist in each of the last 2 games for the Socceroos, 2 tonight. He looked frustrated at times tonight, Lukey, but he is such a reliable performer for Australia.
He did. He looked very frustrated, and that happens, You play against these teams, and it's not easy. We know it's not easy to break down deep blocks, and he looked frustrated, as did many of them. We heard Irvine as well, but, he's always there. The header that he had was great. His delivery at times. So, look, like he said, and I think you can see there, this is the lead up into the tournament. We've got what we needed out of it. We move on now.
You can see he's playing in Saudi Arabia. When he played at Adelaide, he wasn't that chirpy or that arrogant, if you like. And he played with a real arrogance tonight. And I think the Socceroos need a character like him that's going to talk to the referee, go and win a tackle. And, Craig Goodwin, he's got a little shift in his mentality there.
A couple of beautiful balls as well. Time for a very quick break here on Paramount Plus. On the other side, we'll continue to break down at this game. We'll look ahead to the Asian Cup, but also coming up on P Plus this week, there is more FA Cup action. Get the job done against Bahrain. 2-0 victors in their last hit out before the Asian Cup kicks off this week. That was goal number 2. Mitch Duke's first for the night. It came in the second half and sealed the deal for Australia. Welcome back to the post-game show. Awesome to have you with us on this Paramount Plus exclusive. Let's have a closer look at both of those goals now. The first one in the first half, Lukey, came at a time when the Aussies really needed it. Frustration was building and some quick ball paid off.
Yeah, look, it was frustrating. And look, this is the first time the ball did move quickly. We've gone in to go out. We've got the ball out to Goodwin, an early ball in. And that sort of delivery makes it very hard for the defender to clear, and a fantastic finish from the centre-back.
Yeah, you picked up on it. I think, that's the way that the Socceroos needed to unlock that defence, was going in to go out quickly. And Craig Goodwin, he's got such good, consistent delivery. And they get the ball inside the 6-yard box, anything can happen. And just here, here's that second goal. The ball from O'Neill is pinpoint perfect to Craig Goodwin, who just does a great job of just laying it back across for Mitchell Duke. And they're the sorts of goals that you need at the right time, and that came at the right time for the Socceroos.
Yeah, 100%, because at that moment, Bahrain were starting to have a little bit of momentum. But again, it's about the delivery. The delivery this time from O'Neill to Goodwin, and the thought process to knock that back from Mitch Duke, jolly on the spot.
And Azani looks ahead to the Asian Cup and who he leans on in that goal-scoring sense. This is what Mitch Duke offers, isn't it? He struggled to get involved at times throughout this contest, but ultimately, when an opportunity arose, he will finish it. Yeah,
percentages were high for him. I think he had 1 or 2 shots on target and scored a goal. And, in the World Cup and in the Asian Cup, he's going to have that restricted role at times where he's not going to get service through the middle and has to wait probably for the second half of games to get chances. And he got one, buried it.
He thrives on balls in the box as well, so we've got to deliver him. If you've got someone like Mitch Duke there, you've got to get the balls wide, and we have good delivery, and we saw it pay off there.
Well, we saw Gethin Jones make his debut for the Socceroos tonight. Let's hear what he had to say at full time.
Gethin, special night for you making your debut. How did it feel?
Yeah, it was amazing. Listen, it's been a long time coming for me, and I'm made up to finally be here. Like I said in previous interviews, it's been good. Settled in well with the lads and been doing training well, but obviously the games are so much different to training. It was good to be out there with the lads.
And overall, how do you feel you settled into the squad over the last week or so?
Yeah, obviously it's only been a couple of days, but I feel like I've settled in well. The more training we do in different formation styles, I'll learn even more. Obviously it's a bit different in the way we play here compared to club level, so I'm learning every day and now I'm enjoying it.
And looking at the performance, what do you think needs to be worked on as we look ahead to the group stage game against India?
Obviously, every game's going to be different. They tried to frustrate us tonight by sitting in. Maybe we just need to move the ball a bit faster, take our chances, and then kill the game off early.
Thanks very much, mate.
Cheers, thank you.
Gethin Jones, he played all of his international football as a junior for Wales. That was his debut for Australia tonight, having been born in Perth. Luke, he didn't overplay his hand tonight. He didn't make mistakes. It was his first game in Aussie colours. Did he do enough?
Look, we said he did okay. He did okay. I think he could have given us a bit more going forward. I don't think we saw too many deliveries into the box, which we talked about using the width. Let him steady away. I think like this game was, it was a tick box and a pass.
When you get a chance to play for the Socceroos, you want to make sure you take that chance. And in terms of being restricted as a right back, how many times have you seen him get beyond the fullback and make a cross? And that's kind of bread and butter for him, the way he's been playing in the UK. But tonight, at international level, had to be quite restricted. Didn't make any mistakes.
We also saw him rotating in the way Arnie wanted to play, which is, like he spoke on there, playing a bit different to what maybe he naturally does, so a little bit different.
Let's have a look at the Aussie chances they created during this clash with Bahrain, because they struggled at times, Lukey, to break down that low block and really to create the width that they needed.
Yeah, we did, and here we see again a chance from a set piece and a good contact from Irvine. But we're always a threat on set pieces. We know this. Although we couldn't quite execute them today, we were limited probably the amount of set pieces we had, and then a few moments also in transition.
Yeah, surprised that the Bahrain are trying to play out from the back here at 2-0 down at that stage of the game. But just here, was he a little bit too honest, Geordie Boss? Could he have gone down and possibly taken the contact? No VAR, remember? So you've got to make the referee make a decision in those moments, I think.
Aussies ultimately victorious in this last hit out before the Asian Cup. So let's hear what the boss has to say. This is Graham Arnold.
Arnie, what did you take away from tonight's game?
No, look, I think it was a great hit out. It was quite a physical game, and obviously playing against these type of nations, how they sit back, and as much as you can do presentations and train it and get ready for it, it's always great to play against opposition that play that way. So it was a perfect game that we could have had leading into the Asian Cup.
And certainly something you'll expect to see in the group stage?
Yeah, look, I think even beyond, these type of nations, especially against us, they always sit back and they always try to hit us on the counter-attack, and that was important that we had our rest defence strong, that we didn't bomb too many players forward and then get caught out on the break. And I think they only had one shot at goal the whole game, which was good.
And in terms of your 11 and how you want to play heading into the first group game against India, what are you taking away from tonight?
Yeah, look, I made a number of changes and players that hadn't played for quite a while, and it just shows you those 6 boys I brought on, how much depth we're creating and building. That's pretty much what I've been trying to do for the last 4 years as well, is build depth for the Socceroos, because of the age group that we had. So you can see some of the younger boys, they're coming on, they're doing well, they've got that experience, and for a lot of these boys, it's probably the first time they've played a game in the Middle East, outside of Qatar, in those type of stadiums, and just a local stadium, which was fantastic.
Thanks, Arnie. All the best.
Thank you.
Arnie happy at full time with that result. Minutes in the legs, no injuries, box ticked. As we have a look at some opportunities that Bahrain created during that game, Lukey, Arnie mentioned it himself there, that issue around pressing high and ultimately being a bit vulnerable in transition.
Yeah, he talked about the rest defence there, and these are the moments that he wants to try and cut out and eliminate them from getting all the way to the edge of our box. You see here again a sloppy ball lost in midfield, bang, they're onto you, and this is what we're going to get. But like you said, we're limited to shots from distance and no real clear-cut opportunities for the Bahrainians.
Yeah, I think here our midfield gets dragged out a lot. No one's really sitting in that hole, just being a focal point. We've got two defensive midfielders that like to move forward, quite mobile, and it's a great save by Gauchi there. But in terms of that shape that he wants, rest defence is always the back three and one fullback that's pushed up and your central midfielder sitting in front. You always want to have that as your rest defence, and I think the Australian side probably need to work at that just a little bit. Well,
normally, to be honest, when it's Irvine and Bacchus feels that role really well. O'Neill coming in maybe likes to drift a little bit further forward, which sort of we got a bit vulnerable at times. But I do think Bacchus will probably come into that midfield.
That looks like a key change, doesn't it, for the clash with India? Because India will have watched this game and they'll see this as a bit of a blueprint in terms of how to take on Australia. Yeah,
and they're quite quick on the wings, quite tricky, like to cut in. They'll play a left-footed player on the right and a right-footed player on the left, and they'll cut inside trying to find that early cross. You can be sure they're going to be a little bit more direct as well, the way that they like to approach the game and play it long. The goalkeeper's got a massive long kick, so they'll be under pressure, I think, a little bit more than what we saw tonight.
One bloke who got his first starting opportunity for the Socceroos tonight is Sammy Silvera. Let's hear what he had to say at full time.
Sammy, your first start in national colours, how did it feel?
Well, it was amazing, to be honest. To get used to the boys and the way we play, and especially with the start, I'm extremely grateful, and especially heading into an important tournament like this. I mean, I'm extremely grateful, and hopefully I can keep up my form that I had in playing for my club, and I can continue it on the park.
And off the back of tonight and the preparation, how's the confidence moving into what will be a big tournament for the team?
No, I think as a team, we go into this tournament with a lot of confidence, and for myself as well. I think it's a great opportunity for, again, us to show what we are and who we are, and we're going to go out and against any team, we're going to take it to them.
And from your perspective, what were you able to take away from the game against Bahrain tonight?
A lot of positives. I think we've had some very good results over the past couple of months against some very good oppositions, but again, carrying that form into tonight, I think we have a lot of positives, but I think there's also things we need to work on as well. But that's what these games are for, especially heading into a big tournament like this. So I think we did really well, and I think we're going into the tournament in good stead.
Congrats, mate. Thanks.
Sammy Silvera got his chance on that right edge to start tonight, Lukey, and we saw glimpses in the first half in particular of the kind of player he could grow into.
Yeah, there is. Look, he's an exciting player. He likes to, like we spoke about before, drift wide, being able to face the defender, and he's direct and creative. That's something new for him to play, like touched on and Arnie touched on. Some of these players haven't played these sort of teams, and for him to play against a low block, and that would have been an experience for him, and I'm sure there's only more to come from him.
You were impressed, Eric, with some of his touches.
Yeah, in terms of him playing in the UK, I think he's used to players facing him up and getting past with his trickery and his pace and his power. And tonight, having to play against an opponent that sits in, makes you go one way and the other. I just wanted to see him connect a little bit more, possibly with a central player like Mitchell Duke, and get forward and get that ball played in front of him, because he's quick as well. So he's exciting.
Will he get the opportunity against India? Because the Asian Cup kicks off this week. It all starts on Thursday, and you can see it, of course, across Network 10 and Paramount Plus. The Aussies' first game is against India. It is Saturday night, a nice kick-off time as well here in Australia, 10 p.m. for that game. But in the meantime, you've got the Savo. Hope you get a little nap in between. Western United taking on Melbourne City. That's the 10 bold game. You can see it as well on Paramount Plus, of course, in the Isuzu Ute A-League round 11. And next weekend, we are counting down to Unite Round. It is going to be a massive weekend of football here in Australia. The Asian Cup underway, and Unite Round for both the Isuzu Ute and the Liberty A-League in Sydney. Get along to it. Heaps of double headers and a whole heap of ways to get the kids involved as well. On Paramount Plus this week, the FA Cup continues. Third round, Arsenal takes on Liverpool, and Wigan up against Manchester United. Thank you so much for your company tonight. Thanks for sticking with us and setting that nice early alarm. Luke Wilkshire, well done.
Always a pleasure.
Eric Pavlou, so nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Great to have you on board.
Cheers.
Thanks so much at home for joining us. Have a great couple of hours, Kip, and we'll see you a little bit later on for more Isuzu Ute A-League action right here on Paramount Plus. See you soon.